Hello, listeners. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, you will get to listen to 7 psychological thrillers which you haven't heard before.
First story, The Reflection. They told me the mirror was cursed, but I didn't believe them. It hung innocuously in the hallway, tarnished at the edges, a relic of my grandmother's life before she vanished. I thought it was quaint, a piece of her I could keep close. But now, when I look into its depths, I don't see myself. Not really. It began subtly. My reflection would blink a second too late, or its mouth would twist into a faint smirk when mine remained neutral. I told myself I was overtired. The move back to my childhood home, with its creaking floors and whispers in the night, had been overwhelming. But last night, I woke to the sound of my own voice coming from the mirror. "You don't belong here," it whispered. I stumbled to the hallway, heart pounding. There it was, my face in the mirror, but the eyes were alive in a way I'd never seen. They gleamed with malice, with knowledge I didn't have. And then it smiled. I didn't. I've stopped looking into it, but I can feel it watching me. When I turn away, I hear footsteps echoing mine. I've started locking my bedroom door at night, but every morning it's unlocked. Last night, I woke up to find the mirror propped against my bed, my reflection staring down at me, mouthing words I couldn't hear. Am I losing my mind? Or is it just waiting for the right moment to step out?
Two whispers in the attic. The attic was off limits, but I'd always been drawn to it. When I inherited the house from my aunt, I'd promised myself I'd stay away. But the whispers started almost immediately, soft murmurs just beneath the threshold of hearing, growing louder at night. They called my name. "Come up," they said. At first I ignored them, but the compulsion grew unbearable. I found myself at the foot of the attic stairs, hand trembling as I reached for the pull cord. The light flickered on, illuminating stacks of dusty boxes and a single rocking chair facing the window. It rocked slowly, though there was no breeze. "Who's there?" I called. My voice sounded frail, foreign. No answer, just the chair's rhythmic creak. Then I saw it, a photograph on the floor, edges curling with age. It was me as a child sitting in that same chair, though I had no memory of it. Behind me a shadow loomed, its face obscured. Every night since, the whispers have grown louder, more insistent. They've started speaking in my voice. Sometimes I catch glimpses of the shadow in the corner of my eye, closer each time. I'm afraid to sleep. I'm afraid I'll wake up in that chair. Story 3, the room that wasn't there. When I bought the house, the realtor assured me it was structurally sound. But on my first night, I discovered the door. It wasn't on the floor plan, and I hadn't noticed it during the tour. It was plain, unmarked, at the end of the hallway. I tried the knob, but it wouldn't budge. Each night I heard sounds coming from behind it. Faint scratching, like nails on wood. A muffled voice, too distorted to understand. Curiosity gnawed at me until I couldn't resist. I borrowed a crowbar and pried it open. Inside was a room that couldn't exist. It stretched endlessly, walls covered in peeling wallpaper. A single chair sat in the center, and on it was a photograph of me, older, gaunt, staring directly at the camera. I've never posed for such a picture. Since then, the door appears in different places. Sometimes at the top of the stairs, sometimes in the kitchen. I don't sleep anymore. I know what's waiting for me in that endless room. Story 4, Smile. She always smiled. That's what drew me to her. Even in the darkest times, Emily had this radiant smile, as though she knew a secret the rest of us couldn't fathom. After the accident, I clung to that smile. It was all I had left. But lately it's been haunting me. In every photo, her smile is just a little too wide, her teeth a little too sharp. Friends tell me I've been spending too much time staring at her pictures, but they don't see what I see. Last night, I heard her laugh from the living room. When I entered, the TV was off, the room empty, but the frame on the mantel had shifted. Her smile seemed wider than before. I've started seeing her in reflections, in windows, in mirrors, always smiling, always watching. Sometimes I feel her breath on my neck, hear her whisper my name. I can't escape it. I don't think I want to. Story 5, the writing on the wall. The messages started small. A single word scrawled in red ink on my bathroom mirror. Remember. I laughed it off. A prank, I thought. But the words kept coming. On my bedroom walls, my closet door, even inside my car. Remember what? I'd scream, but there was no answer. Then the memories began. Flashes of a life I didn't recall living. A child's laughter, a woman's scream, blood pooling on a kitchen floor. The writing became more urgent. You did this? Last night, I woke to find my hands covered in red ink. Or was it blood? The writing was on every surface of my apartment. It's time. I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know if I'm the victim or the monster. But tonight, I'll find out. The knife is in my hand, and the memories are coming back. Story 6, The House That Listens. I always told myself the old house on Ashburn Lane was a sanctuary. It wrapped around me like a cocoon, shielding me from the unforgiving world outside. But lately, its silence was louder than any chaos. I could hear it, not in words, but in creaks and groans, as if it were speaking to me. It began subtly, with the sound of footsteps when I was alone. The faint scent of lavender wafted through rooms I hadn't entered in years. My mind must have been playing tricks, I reasoned. Stress can do that, can it? At least, that's what Dr. Morton said during our last session. One night, as I lay in bed, the house exhaled a long, mournful sigh. The sound pulled me from sleep, my heart hammering. "Who's there?" I called out, voice trembling. The air answered with a soft, almost mocking creak. I'd forgotten to lock the attic door again. I climbed the stairs, each step echoing in the oppressive quiet. The door was ajar, just as I feared. Swinging it open, I found the room empty, but for the dust motes dancing in the moonlight. A photograph lay on the floor, one I hadn't seen in years. It was me as a child with someone who looked like my mother, but different. Her eyes seemed colder, calculating, and her hand rested on my shoulder, fingers digging in like talons. I don't remember this picture. The whispers started the next day. Low, unintelligible murmurs seeped from the walls. They grew louder at night, building to a crescendo of accusations. "You're lying," they hissed. "You did this." I stopped sleeping. I'd sit in the living room with the lights on, clutching the photo, trying to recall where it came from. The whispers escalated, turning into screams. The house, my sanctuary, had turned against me, or had it always been this way? The climax came when I found myself standing in the attic again, knife in hand, staring at a wall. My name was carved into the plaster, over and over, in jagged letters. The whispers were deafening now, urging me to remember. And then it hit me. The house wasn't speaking, it was remembering. And I had made it forget. The lavender, the photograph, the whispers, they weren't haunting me. They were pulling me back to the day I locked my mother up here and turned the key. But she wasn't dead. The knife dropped from my hand as the wall behind me cracked open. The air filled with the scent of decay, and a voice, hoarse and broken, whispered my name. I turned, and she was there, her eyes colder than the grave I'd tried to bury her in. Story 7, A Mind Like Broken Glass. They told me my name was Daniel, the doctors at the institute, the kind nurse who brought my medication, even the woman who claimed to be my sister. "You've been through a lot," they said, their eyes brimming with pity. "We're here to help you," but they were wrong. I wasn't Daniel. Daniel didn't exist. I spent hours staring at the cracked mirror in my room, trying to find the truth in the reflection. The face looking back was unfamiliar, yet something about the eyes unsettled me. They were hollow, haunted, as if they'd seen horrors even I couldn't remember. The first break in their carefully constructed story came when I found the notebook. Hidden beneath a loose floorboard, it was filled with frantic scrawls. "Don't trust them. You're not safe here. Remember who you are." I confronted the woman who called herself my sister. "Who wrote this?" I demanded, thrusting the notebook at her. Her face paled, and she snatched it from my hands. "You need to rest," she whispered, avoiding my gaze. "You're confused." "Confused? No, I was awake. That night, I decided to leave. The institute was a labyrinth, its corridors endless and identical. But I knew I was getting closer to the exit when the alarms started blaring. "Patient 43 is missing," a voice crackled over the intercom. Patient 43? That wasn't my number. I found the exit, a steel door with a keypad lock. And then she appeared. The nurse, her kind smile replaced with something predatory. You can't leave, Daniel, she said, stepping closer. We're not done yet. Her words triggered a flood of memories. The experiments, the voices, the endless cycle of waking and forgetting. I wasn't a patient. I was a subject. And Daniel was the name of the man who had done this to me. I wasn't running from them. I was running from myself.
And that's the end. Thank you all for listening today. Please do like, subscribe, and share this video.